area, welcome to Talk Back, representing your issues, your voices, your words, and your concerns, looking at local art and politics in your neighborhood. And here's your hosts, Anthony and Michelle.
Hola, hola, Bay Area. You're here with us and Talk Back. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Anthony. If you caught us before, we want to say welcome back. But if this is your first time catching us, we want to say, where the hell have you been?
Right? Where you been?
Okay, but what?
Maybe they're checking out our website. It's pretty cool. We're making changes to it every day.
That's
it's
right.
Definitely not a static website. Every time you go in there, you get a little something new in there.
It's talkbackcentral.com. You can check on bios, get some behind-the-scenes shots, some
Pictures.
highlights of our shows. Check it out.
Or you can send us an email if you got some feedback for us,
That's
or
right.
you have some ideas, or you just want to be silly and say something like Talk Back is the best show ever. You can do that too.
We want to hear from you.
But today, actually, what are we talking about today?
Today, we're talking about hip-hop. But not the hip-hop you hear every day on the radio, on BT, MTV, all that. We're talking about conscious hip-hop.
That's right. And I know you guys are sitting in your seat right now and you think hip-hop, and already you're hearing the because that's what we're hearing.
It's dropping like it's hot. Hey, we all love it, right?
Today we're going to be making it a little bit different. We're going to switch it up on you. If you really, really love hip-hop, stay tuned, because the difference is hip-hop has changed over the 30 years. And
That's
I think
right.
that change we see in mainstream rap, and I know that locally we've got some people that are making an effort to send out a
Try and make it
conscious
come
message.
back. Hey, making change through hip-hop. Okay, we have a couple great guests today.
Yeah, I think we mentioned the DJ Project. We've got
That's right.
Ice Life, who's a local, actually,
She's going to be in our
rapper.
feature. So right now, hey, check out our feature, hip-hop, locally
Talk Back.
conscious. Check this out.
Hey Talkback viewers, you're here with me, Charity Twos, and today we're asking, what is conscious hip-hop? What's the history of hip-hop? How is hip-hop being used as a social political tool? Is hip-hop a good way of getting youth off the streets?
I'm in the house like furniture. I'm young, I'm black, I'm from East Oakland, but I ain't no murderer. Stereotype you ever heard of it?
You know, the garbage that gets looked at like it's not conscious hip hop,
Right.
it's still hip hop. It's really hip hop. Gangster rap and you know, people rapping about materialism, that's a reality in the world. And it's not just the ghetto. America is based on materialism. So everybody's about materialism. I think that the problem that we have, and I don't think that we're necessarily conscious artists. I think, you know, we're aware of our surroundings, so we stay true to that. I think we're authentic artists. So we're just authentic to the world. And I think the problem is that our brand of music doesn't get as much of a shot as the garbage that gets put on the radio. If they would let, it don't even gotta be us, if they let our type of music, people who are in the same genre that we are, if we got a 30% shot on the radio and then the other garbage got a 70% shot, we will blow. Because if you give people the option between choosing poison water and pure water, they'll always choose what's right for their bodies. And I
So
think,
why don't you think you get the opportunity?
the radio networks, the media networks are all owned by people who don't have the best interests of the masses in their minds. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can't market anything that isn't predictable. So if there's a slight chance that we might come in out of nowhere and they can't market, you know, they need everybody to like the same song for 5 weeks. That has to be everybody's favorite song. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has to think American Idol is the thing to see on Thursday. Everybody has to think that a certain movie is the movie to see on Friday. And if you're outside of that box, then you're tripping. And we're definitely outside of that box. And I hear that. But that's why, I think that's why we get the appreciation that we get, that we're different. And I think that that's the threat we pose. But I think that in the end, if the masses select our music and what it is we're putting out, then it'll have to be played by the radio whether they want to or not.
So we're checking out the DJ Project today. The DJ Project has a 10-week course where they invite youth from around San Francisco to learn entrepreneur skills, skills of producing, making, and bringing out their beats, and also critical thinking skills of what's really positive and conscious hip-hop.
Just trying to build a larger community, a positive alternative within hip-hop culture for young people, because from my perspective, a lot of the mainstream music, a lot of the mainstream hip-hop culture destroys community. And so we want to be an alternative institution that builds community around positivity, around family, and just around good times. So.
The streets mold you into a soldier as the seas get younger, hearts turn cold.
I got involved with the DJ project through a counselor at Thurgood Marshall High School. She knew that I was interested in music, and she decided, you know, why don't I join the project? So now I'm down here.
What's the most exciting thing that you've gotten out of the project so far? The most important kind of piece of work that you've done here?
Well, to me, the whole fact of being able to produce music and to make music on any level, that's been the most exciting part to me. Because it's like, I never had a chance to do that before, and through this, you know, program, I was able to, you know, be able to just, you know, let my, how should I say, my artist juices flow, or my creative, you know, senses or whatever, just let it flow and just, you know, have fun.
Do we do production, teaching kids the structure of a song as far as, you know, 16 bars, everything has to do with, you know, making a song, but we also teach critical thinking workshops, which include, you know, pimping, the destruction of, you know, as far as young women, destruction of young men having to do with, you know, the pimps and all that stuff. So, and then we also teach the death and the rebirth of hip hop, which is, the first workshop is the 10-point program, which was written by Davey D, and which talks about in a sarcastic way of everything that has to do with, you know, being marketable in this society, in this culture right now, which, you know, he mentions you have to kill somebody in order to be marketable, you have to say the word nigga, you have to rape a woman, you have to be, you know, disrespectful in order to be marketable. So it's written in a sarcastic way, and it's kind of like a reality tour of hip-hop today, especially in the mass media. And then the next workshop is a 12-point program, which was written by Adisa Howard, which is basically taken kind of off of the 10-point program that the Black Panthers did. So it's kind of like a revolutionary rebirth to hip-hop. So in a way, I chose these two things to make it like that death and the rebirth. And it creates a lot of conversation with the young people that go through the DJ project that really don't think about it. I think especially with the destruction of hip-hop is having to do with, you know, what these young people are listening to, what they're hearing, what they're, you know, the mass media is contributing to the destruction, you know, profiting off of it, as far as, you know, these young kids are going home, turning on BET, MTV, or whatever it is, and that's what's flooding their minds. And so hip-hop, if used the right way as a learning tool, it can contribute a lot of, you know, knowledge, you know what I'm saying? I think the impact is, you know, we only do it for 2 to 3 months. So to me, it's more like an introduction to what's out there. You know, we may have kids coming in here who have been rapping for a long time, who've been doing production for a long time, and just enhancing their skills. And we have kids who have never come here and never rapped before in their life, or never sang. So what we do is we offer just an introduction. And right now we're in the works of actually creating a class for advanced students, for kids who want to come back. Because we have kids who come back all the time and, you know, well, I want to get in the studio, I want to do more of this. Where can I go? And especially now, you know, you have City College, San Francisco State offering courses on audio production and whatever it is, but it costs money. And we all know that not everybody has money, especially kids who live in, you know, the Mission, the Fillmore, Sunnydale, Hunters Point, you know, kids who are affected by this. And they really want somewhere to go and express their thoughts, express their feelings. And another thing we're talking about critical thinking is, like, without that component in the DJ project, it would just be another free studio. Kids to come and record or whatever it is. That's not what we're here for. We're here for them to learn that hip-hop is more than what they see on TV.
Who do you look up to? Who do you bring out to the stage with you?
I think any true leader understands that they're not a leader. It's the masses. It's the folks. Like, so, you know, grandmothers cooking in kitchens, raising kids, single fathers on their own raising youth. Our motivation comes from, I think, just the people. Artists, I know this mentor of mine asked me one time, she said, are you a poet for the cause, or you just need a cause to be a poet? And that's like one of the hardest questions I've ever been asked, you know, like, so making sure that you're doing what you want to do genuinely for yourself.
Hey, welcome back to Talk Back. You just saw a feature on the local hip-hop conscious movement here Ice Life, DJ Lady Tragic laced us with a lot of stuff we can talk about right now. We have two guests with us. We have Bozy. He's a local artist, producer, co-founder of Club Knowledge, activist. And we also have Donna Lisa Fisher. She is an anthropologist, an educator. She is a teacher of the anthropology of hip hop at Laney College. Thank you guys for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Yes, I guess after watching that feature, a lot of us have a lot to talk about, but I'm interested, being a lady, and you being a lady too, is how important do you think it is for women contributing to the hip-hop movement?
Well, briefly, I think that when the pioneers and major early innovators created hip-hop as a culture, I think they created it as an alternative to some of the pre-existing political movements. And so I believe that there was an attempt possibly to create something that was more equitable. And so we see a lot of women that are present in the early days, and basically because I think it was introduced as something that was supposed to be more equitable. I think it's important that we see equal representation and honor the different voices that we see coming out from hip-hop today. So I think it's very important that women are in hip-hop. And
do you think there is that balance today, like in the hip-hop movement? Do you feel like there's enough female voices being shared out there?
On the ground, yes. I would say it's definitely equal. I mean, that's just basic statistics. However, in the media, as with many other popular cultural genres, representation is not equal.
Wow. Okay. What do you think?
I feel that as of right now, I think women are not represented fairly. I think we see a lot of women. That's, to me, that's degrading. And I think a lot of women do have skills as far as being rappers, DJs, and beat producers. And we don't see a lot of that, and I think we need to see a little bit more.
Well, we've got people out there like Little Kim and, you know, some of these ladies out there that have found that their sexuality is a way to be more marketable.
Right.
And I don't see a lot of ladies out there right now. We have Bahamadia, you know, Lauryn Hill. But as of right now, you know, I can't really think of somebody that's holding the torch as an artist for the ladies out there.
Well, thank you for bringing that up, because I'm actually just returning from the Feminism and Hip Hop Conference at Chicago. And while all of the discourse there is highly valued, I think one of the things that we as scholars and community activists need to do is constantly put the names of those who are holding it down in our mouths to share with people so they can learn and consume their positive product. And I would definitely, since we're here in the Bay, like to give shout out to Pam the Funkstress of the Coup, lyricists like Jean Grey, EQ, and Medusa, many others. Yo-Yo, who will be here at the Club Knowledge.
That's right.
Malcolm X Conference.
Great segue. Bozy, Club Knowledge. Tell us about the Malcolm X Conference, about to come.
Okay, the Malcolm X Conference is a 3-day conference that's speaking on different issues. Like we as a BSU, a Black Student Union, in the community college setting, that we want to get some issues together. So we're inviting all the BSUs from all over California to come together, and we're going to talk about one common goal that we can work on together collectively.
And what's the goal?
We're going to find that out when everybody gets here on April 29th.
We were talking about this common goal when I was looking at the website for the Hip Hop Anthology, and there's a lot of essays and a bunch of different radio and outlets for people who want to know more about the hip hop movement. Going on that tip, what are some other things that you see besides, for example, people want to make good hip hop, right? But let's say you don't know, you're not a strong writer, you're not this, you're not that. What other skills could you hone in on and still be part of the hip hop movement?
Okay, and were you talking about the Hip Hop Archive?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, okay, which is founded by Dr. Marcelina Morgan. Absolutely. I think that there's a lot of resources that people can tap into, particularly in the Bay Area, to develop their skills if they're looking at any of the what we call the 5 fundamental elements. And let's just look at 4 of those, with like beat production, lyricism, graffiti art, and dance. There's a number of different community programs, one of which was highlighted in the segment with the DJ Project. And then I know that there's workshops at Eastside Arts Alliance, etc. However, as Karis One mentioned in his article, The Definitions, it's not necessary for everyone that wants to participate in hip-hop cultural production to just participate in these 5 elements. And we have to remember knowledge is the overstanding element if you follow that theory. And so we see women very prevalent in hip-hop as entrepreneurs, as fashion designers, and in a number of different showcases, as scholars, as teachers, as people who are making major innovation in regard to language and other sorts of...
When you're talking about language, I'm sorry, we think of something else. On the Hip Hop Archive, I think a lot of people, when we think about hip hop locally, there's also too, I mean, hip hop internationally does hit like Japan, France, South Africa.
Right.
How is that impacting local youth? Do you think local youth knows enough about that? I mean...
Well, it just depends on where you're at. I mean, in a place like the Bay Area, we'll see a number of different youth in neighborhoods who have family members that are still in different countries where their parents might have come from. And so I'm finding personally with those youth that they're very connected to the hip hop that comes out of those countries, particularly if they're multilingual. So we might see a youth from Korea that lives in a particular neighborhood of, say, Richmond or something, and they might still be consuming Korean hip hop production. But then maybe in the middle of Texas, where maybe we have youth that doesn't have access to the internet and so forth, they might not be as aware of the global impact of hip hop. But we slowly see that changing as we see U.S.-born hip hop artists, maybe such as Jin, doing songs and artwork with people like Sphere of Influence out of Japan, creating this multi-level.
The impact is really, really big, and maybe youth should be aware of the fact that if we're really talking about hip-hop from 30 years ago and the impact of it and going beyond the commercial bling-bling that we see, if it's reaching people all over the world, guess what? It's probably pretty deep-rooted in something good that we should know about. And if we're conscious, we should know about that.
Absolutely. Having personally traveled to many different countries, formally studying hip-hop culture and the cultural production among youth, I can definitely say that as UNESCO identified, it is the latest voice of the disenfranchised. Youth are borrowing hip-hop as a sort of voice, as a political strategy to communicate to their communities how the state or their families or their particular situation is not meeting their needs.
Which is the origin of hip hop, I mean, to begin with.
Absolutely.
Right?
If we consider the roots, look at Wild Style. We see Melly Mel belting out lyrics over a flash beat saying, you know, look past the garbage over the trains, you know.
See, for me it was what, BDP, you know, Public Enemy, definitely.
Yeah, what for you guys, what are some of these what you consider like old school or authentic? I don't know how you guys want to word it, but I mean, just so people know out there, some other good outlets for good hip hop, good music. That people go out all the time, they're looking for music, and what are some things you might recommend? Like listen to this or listen something that might inspire local youth who is kind of wanting to look for that sound.
My personal favorites, I like The Coup, I like Ice Life, I like Public Enemy. Dead Press.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's so many different people that contribute to the consciousness, a positive consciousness of hip hop. We can look at, like I said, Melly Mel. If you go back, you know what I'm saying, the message. Right. You know, then that was so political and deep at that particular time. You know, it got people to understand what's going on in the streets.
And like you said, like we talked about earlier, NWA, even though controversial, we're discussing serious issues, and it wasn't until labels saw how marketable it was that the flooding of negative hip-hop was coming in, you know what I'm saying? Because they were still talking about serious things and positive things, you know, at the same time. But I have a 4-year-old daughter, you know what I'm saying? So I listen to the radio, and when I hear her singing some shit, it kind of gets to me, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm really excited about the new movement of positive hip-hop that's in the mainstream. I think there's a handful of people, Kanye, I mean, I think has a message, Mos Def has a message, and they're getting that crossover attention, if you will. What do you guys think about that movement in that respect?
Do you want to actually go ahead first?
For you.
Well, I just wanted to ditto on the artist that Bozy just mentioned. And also, you were asking something before I get to that about old school and keep in mind I'm a little bit older, but I remember being a pre-adolescent youth seeing MC Light on Yo MTV Raps for the first time, and she's talking about paper thin and talking about chit chatter, and that was just a very empowering moment for me. So I mean, and you know, Queen Latifah, Yo-Yo, very much, I mean, especially Yo-Yo, and I see that being continued today with the art of Medusa, as far as lyricists are concerned, and Jean Grey. Going on what you're, so I mean, definitely those artists that Bosie mentioned are definitely part of that new movement that you're talking about. I have children in my family as well, and it is depressing as we turn on certain local radio stations that don't play. I mean, basically, I cannot listen to those stations with children in the car. However, there are stations like KPFA that do have like certain hours they do show conscious hip hop
in the afternoons. I've listened to it.
Hard Knock Radio.
I'm flipping through it. I'm like, how come I never hear this?
Absolutely.
But it's scarce though. You know, I mean, you gotta catch it. You gotta know what time because
you know what's kind of interesting though too. I mean, there are certain things that we can't do about like hegemony and forces that are forcing us to see some of this stuff. But I think it's pretty remarkable that locally, I mean, you go to like Stanford, UC Berkeley, UCLA, MIT, Harvard, top of the top schools that are teaching the anthology of hip hop. So I mean, let's say maybe you don't necessarily find yourself being able to produce that kind of music, you can find out more about it and see on a broader scale what hip hop does for society at large. It's bigger than.
No, you're going to teach that at Laney. So for the people out there that want to maybe take the class, why don't you tell them a little bit about the
or
course?
If you want to hear Bosie on campus putting some sounds out there too, there's all kinds of ways.
Can I plug it?
Plug it, man. Plug it.
Mostly every Tuesday and Thursday on Laney campus on the quad. I play the music out there, and you can come out there and get the good vibrations. It's summer. It was almost summertime, spring. The sun is out. Make sure you come out and check me out on 12 to 1 on the quad.
No shameless plugs here, man. We do it all. Anything.
If you want to see political hip hop that's positive, I mean, I'd be right there, and I'd also be at Laney College April 29th and 30th, listening to Chuck D, Yo-Yo, The Coup, Jeff Johnson. Everybody lay it down in a positive way.
Right, most definitely. The Activate Sessions is going down April 29th here at Laney Community College Theater. It's going to have The Coup, Ice Life, Amir Suleiman, Lunar Heights, DJ Yados, Black Widow, Ryan, we got Hairdo, Firewater. Everybody's going to be there, man.
Okay, so hey, that's a great way to end this right here. Hey, I want to thank our guests. It was a great discussion. But right now we're going to hit Charity Twos. She is pounding the pavement. She's talking to you guys. You might see yourself, and you're talking back about conscious hip hop.
So we're checking in with kids and people on the street about what comes up for them when they think about hip hop. So when I say hip hop, what do you think about?
It's music basically, or the kind of way people are living right now. The African American community or something like that.
Their life, like how they struggle to get money and stuff. Hip hop is tight though. Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop. Can't live without hip hop.
We'll leave you like Usher, confess.
Any particular artists that you like?
50 Cent,
Ja Rule, Jay-Z,
Keith, Quinn, and Ludacris, 50 Cent, Tupac, man, Biggie Smalls, you know what I mean? I'm
Talib, De La Soul,
Eazy-E, Tupac, 50 Cent,
Nelly, feel me? Mac Dre.
Do you feel like the hip hop you listen to represents you in a good light as women and young women?
Yeah.
It don't affect you? It doesn't affect you?
So. It depends. If they immature, then yeah, they're gonna think that we like that or whatever. But if they know, it's just a song, you feel me? They don't care. They don't care.
Discriminating a lot of females, like that, you know, talking about a lot of different people, rappers, females, basically, you know, disrespecting a lot.
I just listen to the beat, you know, feel the music.
Do you think hip hop's being used as a political tool?
You know, they'll listen to what they have to say more than what someone who they don't, you know, relate to, what they'll have to say more. They relate to them more, I think, hip hop artists.
So yeah, you can say hip hop is political. You can say rap is political. You can say soul music is political. All music is political. Spoken word is political. So yeah.
I would have to say it would be for political. It would have to be Puff Daddy because you know he said vote or die, so therefore he was going for the political rights.
Do you think I need to give you a heads up?
Do you feel like hip hop can be a tool that activates youth and gets them involved?
Most certainly, as long as it is conscious and as long as it speaks positively.
I think it draws lines around communities that are already there in a lot of ways, whether it's their political lines or ethnic, cultural lines.
It's just enlightening the youth to have knowledge about what they are and who they are. So, you know, and what they can do in the world.
I think that whether it's hip hop or art or whatever it might be, if people have a strong sense, an ability to articulate their ideas and to explore them and question them, yeah, I definitely think it could. I don't necessarily know if revolution or radical change is going to come through hip hop, but I definitely think that change can happen through art. Yeah.
So thanks for joining us on the street. We got lots of different opinions, and back to the studio.
Charity, baby, I love you. You are so good on the street. You get out there and you really get people engaged. And that's what we do here at Talk
That's what she does for a living. She was talking to you guys, and you guys were talking back about conscious hip-hop.
That's right, and since we are talking about hip-hop, this is not like, you know, hip-hop. This is hip-hop, baby. That's what we're talking about.
But it did sound like a little, you guys need to do a little research. I know I got to do some research of my own.
Yeah, that's right. You can go to Talk Back, though, and we'll get you some links. We got a little bit on the DJ Project, on the Malcolm X Conference next week.
That's right. Hip-hop archives. So check us out, talkbackcentral.com. Now, today we had a great feature. We had 2 great guests.
Yeah, they were hella cool. They were hella cool. We were talking about, like, just like we're chilling at a party. Like, what do you think? What do you think? It was nice. I like that. I like that.
Now, did you learn something new today?
Yeah, I always learn something, baby. Come on.
Oh, okay.
Come on. I always learn something. But one thing that I definitely learned that I never knew before was I didn't realize globally how hip-hop is touching everyone.
That's right.
And I also didn't know that, you know, hoity-toity academics and stuff are looking at hip-hop as something
as
legit,
a tool.
as a tool, right?
Yeah, that's right.
If I can take a class at Stanford,
that's pretty cool.
That's pretty fancy, I gotta say. That's pretty fancy.
Now for me, you know, again, I mentioned I have my little one talking to Donalisa about the female movement at the ground level of conscious hip hop right now is just so refreshing to me because, you know, damn, I'm a concerned parent, you know?
You're a dad. I know, you don't want your little girl doing little kid stuff and all over. I wouldn't want that either. But hey, if you go to Talkback Central and check out the link.
Check us out. Hit us back with emails, feedback, everything. We'll see you next week. Latino art in the East Bay.
Ciao, ciao.